Hello everyone and welcome back to this brand new video. Now for today we're going to be playing Temur Taunter. And how does Temur Taunter exactly function? Let's get right into that. So Temur Taunter is built around Brash Taunter, so whenever he is dealt damage, he deals that much damage to target opponent. So all of our deck is kind of based on this card specifically. We either are trying to ramp into a position where we can play Brash Taunter and abuse his ability, or we're trying to kind of survive and assemble our combo pieces. So what are our combo pieces? Wilderness Reclamation, and before I get the boo, you're playing Reclamation, we are playing it for jank, so we get the jank pass. So how do we exactly win with Reclamation and Brash Taunter? We use Magmaquake. So if we have an active Brash Taunter on the field and then we Magmaquake for 20 or less, assuming we dealt the damage to our opponent, we can simply just win the game, because Magmaquake is going to deal 20 damage to our Brash Taunter, and then he's going to deal that much damage to our opponent, and that's simply enough to win the game. Now besides that, what does the deck do? Sublime Epiphany is a very spicy card, and the main thing I want to do with this card is to just copy my Brash Taunter. That way we can Magmaquake for 10, and that's also kills my opponent. Besides that, we have Precognitive Perception, and I really like this card with Wilderness, because let's say you play Wilderness on turn 4, you untap, you play a land, you can precon with the addendum effect, you can scry 3, and then you will untap at your end step and have things to do, so that's actually super good. Besides that, we're running Mystical Dispute, and of course we're a Wilderness Reclamation deck, so we are ramping as much as possible. So for Growth Spiral, for Explore, 2 ops just to kind of dig for things. Thassa's Intervention is a very good card because it's either a counter spell or a way for us to dig for our combo pieces if we have excess mana from Wilderness Reclamation. And the MVP of this deck, and the card I like the most, is Blitz of the Thunder-Raptor. Why is that? Look at our deck. Our deck has 27 lands, but it has 22 instant or sorceries. So at some stage we could just play Brash Taunter on top with Reclamation and then use Blitz for just 20 damage and then win off the spot on the same turn. So that's it for like the deck choices. Besides that, we have our mana base, which is simple. I like Castle Vantress because it helps you scry for the combo, and Ketria Triome makes sure that you do not kind of just land flood and do nothing. So that's gonna be pretty much it for the DeckTech. But before we get into the games, I would like to please ask you to subscribe because it helps the channel a lot. If you want to help the channel beyond that, you can check out the Patreon link in the description down below. And with that, I'll see you in the games. Going into our first game of Brash Taunter, this is obviously not the hand you want to keep because look, you don't have a lot of lands, you don't have a lot of action. So we're gonna mulligan, and we hit kind of a worst hand, but like this is not something I can keep on mulliganing. We're gonna bottom the Sublime Epiphany because it's the most expensive spell in our hand currently, and I think I'm gonna lead off with a Castle Vantress, and we're just going to pass. So next turn we can opt, maybe try to dig for a better card. Forest and aggro is not my biggest friend. Let's just try to dig for an island because it fixes our hand. Can I really bottom a land in this position? Let's think about it. I don't think I should, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Let's just try to do something. Alright, sure. I mean, we're not doing well land wise, but like we are still in this. Theoretically, somehow, we are still in this. Branching Evolution. If one or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, put that many, you should basically double your counters, and that's actually super interesting. Let's see what our opponent plays, and based on what he plays, I might dispute or not. If it's not something that's gonna end the game or kill me, I would... Alright, so sure, that can resolve. But like whatever he plays to pump this will not resolve probably. I'm gonna decide based on what he plays. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want to be facing this, so like, I'm sorry opponent, I'm very sorry, but like, this cannot resolve. I actually apologize for this. I know how it feels to play jank and get countered. So we're gonna lead off with our Wilderness Reclamation, and next turn we have a Precognitive Perception, maybe on our turn, or maybe at the end step. This planes actually looks super cool. I think it's a Busry plane. Alright, so please hit double lands. Please hit double lands. That's not double land. That's not double land. That's not double land. Yeah, this is not looking like a game we're going to stabilize with. Unless we get Magmaquake. That's not Magmaquake. Alright, so I'm probably gonna play Reclamation now. I'm actually gonna pay, and I'm gonna float the red mana because I would need red mana for Magmaquake. So let's just play our Reclamation, go to our end step, float the red mana, untap, float our blue, float our blue, float our blue. Yes, I like floating mana. I could have pressed QQ, but I want to make sure that we keep the mana I need. And no, I don't want to use the 2 red. I want to use all of the blue that I floated. All of the blue that I floated. Arena. I hate Arena with every inch of my being. So we don't draw Magmaquake, so I think I'm not gonna kill Arena. It tapped my other red source. Sure, so we're gonna have to shock this in. Although that's fine because we're gonna get to stop this. Yeah, I think we just stop this now and then we wish that we don't die next turn. Although I don't think we're gonna die because we have Precognitive Perception on upkeep. We can scry 3, try to get into Magmaquake, and we would have enough to Magmaquake wipe out the whole board. Now the problem with this deck is that your opponent usually kind of concedes when you control the board with Magmaquake, and my opponent is currently thinking a lot for someone that can play a... Well, how like big can he get this? He can pay it for 3, so like he can get a 6/6. So I'm not sure why your opponent is waiting this much. Now, a reminder to stay hydrated when your opponent is thinking too much. I forgot about Llanowar Elves, so you can make it as an 8/8. And we get Magmaquake. Now the question is, how much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2 is 12, so we can deal... Yeah, we have enough of the mana. So the question is, do I want to keep Sublime Epiphany up? And I guess the answer is no. Let's just Precognitive Perception. I don't think I want another Reclamation. I don't think I need another land, but we're gonna keep another Magmaquake because we do need it for the combo in the future. And Blitz is good because we can also use that for the combo. Let's just float a red, untap, and now because I have all of the mana we can QQ safely. Untap, do this for 8. If I'm not wrong, this doesn't do anything when something dies, right? No. So let's just do this for 8, auto tap. Sorry opponent, I mean, I kind of have to survive to put off Brash Taunter. Now sadly we don't have Epiphany up, but we can theoretically just kill off whatever he plays with Blitz or with just Magmaquake next turn, so I'm not that worried. And if he does anything, if he doesn't do anything, we can just scry with Castle Vantress at end step. So let's see what our opponent has in mind. Stonecoil Serpent for 8 is fine because we have the Blitz. So let's just scry 2. Now the Blitz reminds me of something in How I Met Your Mother. So for those of you who didn't watch How I Met Your Mother, I recommend you watch it. Before I tell you about the Blitz, I'm gonna cycle my Ketria Triome. And then we're gonna opt, try to dig for as many things as possible. Spiral is good, just because it's a free cantrip and it makes my Blitz bigger. We're gonna play a land, sure. Now we're gonna go into our end step, and we're gonna float our mana, and I'm gonna scry twice, but let me tell you about the Blitz in that time. So the Blitz is a character in How I Met Your Mother, and he's basically cursed. So whenever he leaves the room, he has something called the Blitz, where whenever he leaves the room, something just simply insane happens. And sadly, this is what the card reminds me of. So do we keep another Castle Vantress because that means an additional scry per turn? I don't think so. So we're gonna QQ to make a lot of blue mana. We're gonna scry once again. And now we can actually Blitz after all of this. Yeah, I don't want these. We're gonna Blitz this off. Sorry opponent, I'm really sorry. And now next turn we can Sublime Epiphany, do a bunch of things, but I really hope I don't have to use it. Sublime Epiphany is usually a copy Brash Taunter card. So unless I'm like really forced to do it, I won't do it. Sure, this can happen. This is like double counter effects. Let's just go into our turn. Yeah, land is not what I wanted to see. Brash Taunter is insane, so we win the game next turn if we keep Magmaquake Sublime Epiphany. But even though we have the win ensured, I would rather scry and set up the future turns, just in case something happens. So we're gonna keep on doing this. Yeah, I don't think I need a land. We're gonna QQ for the last time, and then we're gonna Castle Vantress. Precognitive Perception is decent as a follow-up in case our combo doesn't work. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we just wait for next turn. And now we play our Taunter, we then copy it with Sublime Epiphany, and then after that we just win. I think this kills us, right? Because yeah, it puts double counters here, and then if one or more counters, yeah, so I don't think I can let this resolve, sadly. So we're gonna counter target spell, bounce something, draw a card. So bounce, draw, counter. I'm very sorry opponent, but like, I kind of need to survive to win this game. Now the question is, how much mana do I have for next turn? Let's see. So opponent, thank you for the game. I mean, thank you for passing. Alright, so let's see. I think we can play this safely, and now we can just pass our end step. Now we just QQ, untap, QQ. Now the question is, do I have lethal? Currently we can do it for, let's see, all of our mana. So currently we have 14, we have exactly lethal, exactly 20 damage. Alright, see, I planned everything from the start of the game. I actually didn't. Alright, so that's it for game 1, and with that, I'll see you guys in game number 2, I guess. I forgot about the gaining life clause. I forgot about the gaining life clause. I mean, sure, we win next turn, it's not a problem. Unless, like, opponent goes... What could opponent go to win the game? Let's see. He goes... what was the card that has haste? Alright, so that doesn't win him the game. We just now... we're gonna Precognitive Perception because drawing cards is simply cool in Magic. And then after that, we activate this, and now, I'll see you guys in game 2. I'll see you guys in game number 2. Going into our second game of Brash Taunter or Temur Taunter. I like this hand because we potentially have our Taunter on turn 4, so like that's something optimistic. So let's see if our opponent lets us do it, or like if he has Dispute to stop our Spiral. So usually a tip I give you is that you should always lead off with your Explorer, just in case you suspect that your opponent has something, but because he led off with a Fabled Passage, and that means that he can't have Mystical Dispute, I'm gonna go with Explorer, and hopefully I hit a tapped land. Alright, never mind. So we're gonna play our island, and then we're gonna pass. Now, because I drew Reclamation, I'm most likely going to play Reclamation next turn, and then we have Spiral, and then we can potentially draw Taunter next turn. So let's see what happens. Opponent is... Alright, I'll see you in game 3, I guess. So going into our third game of Temur Taunter, just because last game I scared someone too much, I think we're gonna mod this just because we don't have enough action. And I think this is a very good hand, and once again we're probably gonna have to bottom Sublime Epiphany. Although it's the coolest combo with Taunter, I don't think I can keep it in my hand. I'm sorry Sublime Epiphany, I'm really sorry about that. So let's just lead off with our Triome. And now let's hope I draw Explore so I can play the Crag, Explore, Opt, do some things. Alright, aggro is not really what I want to face. Welcome back, Sublime Epiphany, welcome back. I wish I could play this time, but we can't. So Magmaquake is actually pretty essential against this aggro deck, so I guess we're gonna keep it. And the plan is just to draw another land so we can Magmaquake for 2 on his turn, kill off Lavamancer, kill off whatever he has in mind. And then untap, play our Taunter, and then just the turn after Sublime Epiphany. Now, this is very scary to say the least, but we're gonna have to suffer. And we're just gonna hope and wish that we're not dead next turn. Although, he kind of needs 3 spells, so it could kill me. Shock into double Skewer, alright, that's not lethal yet. Shock into double Skewer is, actually Shock into Skewer is... Alright, so that's 2, and then we get another 3, that's 14. 14, and then 7. 7 plus 2, 9. Alright, sure, double Shock is fine, I guess. We're gonna be taking a huge chunk of damage. Alright, so when I was playing Brash Taunter, I wanted to take damage, but I never meant that I want to take this much damage. And now the problem is I can't shock him with Breeding Pool because Brash Taunter would just die to that. G2 Leveler can resolve. So we can pass the attackers. And opponent, what do you have in mind? Magmaquake for 2, opponent. The classic board wipe. Is this I kill you turn? It's not the I kill you turn. I think shocking is way too risky currently. So I think we're just gonna explore. And now we're gonna play this tapped, and then we're gonna pass. Actually, we're gonna play this also, and then we're gonna pass, because Explore says I can play an additional land per turn. I'm sorry, I'm not used to playing green cards. Alright. Sure. Sure, this is very scary currently, but sure. So we're gonna play this and path. Now the question is, I would be forced to kind of bounce this, and then he could just kill me with shock. I think we're just gonna have to play our Taunter and hope for the best. I think this is the play. We just play this, hope for the best. If we get to survive one more turn, we can Sublime Epiphany, copy, and win. Alright, please no other card. Please nothing else. Okay, actually nothing else. Sure. So if Goblin Chain Whirler is the pickup, we're dead. If not, we can survive. Please no Goblin Chain Whirler. Please no exact lethal. No exact lethal. No exact lethal. Opponent stop. I hate this game. Let's get into game 4. Going into our 4th and final game of Temur Taunter. I like this hand because we have this on turn 5 and double Reclamation. I think that should be enough with Magmaquake, so we're gonna keep this hand and we're gonna try to just simply win it all that way. So let's see what happens. So opponent is mulliganing down to 6, I assume. Is this Tempered Steel? I really don't want to be playing against Tempered Steel. So let's see. If he goes turn 2 Artifact, this is probably Tempered Steel. Alright, he doesn't. I'm gonna test out if he has a dispute with this Growth Spiral. It's always safe to assume, actually it's not apparently safe to assume that he has a mystical dispute. It could just still be Tempered Steel, but he has a slow start. Brush all of what I said off. This is not Tempered Steel. Sure, you're gonna plus, and yes, drawing into Wilderness Reclamation after opponent plays the fairy, best feeling ever. So we're gonna play our Wilderness, bait opponent into minusing the fairy to bounce it, and then we have Magmaquake for 2 kill off the fairy. That seems like the most logical play. So let's see what our opponent has in mind, because the most obvious play here is just to minus Wilderness. I would be very happy if he also plays Narset and then minuses Narset, because that means that I get a 2-for-1, a clean 2-for-1 against a control deck, which is very, very good to say the least. So he doesn't do anything. That's weird. We're gonna still try to go for it. I mean, it didn't seem like he has a negate. Alright, sure. So I didn't think he has a negate or something because he did not do anything when I played Spiral. So I assumed that for sure this is safe to go for. And besides that, looking at our hand, we don't really have a lot of options. Is he playing Teferi Tribal? I'm actually interested if he's playing Teferi Tribal because, like, obviously Teferi fan right here. So he blinks his land. It would be interesting if he top decks Dispute. If he top deck Dispute. Alright, he didn't top deck Dispute because he played it tapped. So we're gonna play our Wilderness and then we're gonna untap and hope that we draw one of our lands for Precognitive Perception because we seriously need that card. Alright, so Bant Teferi. That's interesting to say the least. So we draw our land. Do we go for like our other Wilderness Reclamation? Is it even worth it? I think it is. I think it definitely is because I'm gonna play Precognitive Perception. Yeah, that was a sad turn to say the least. Okay, Birth of Meletus is fine. I really did not think of this continuity. This is probably banned extra turns with Teferi and then turn 4 Teferi and things. So let's see. I'm gonna lead off with this Explore. Try to draw into yet another land and then we can play our Reclamation. Alright, it worked out in our favor. So Wilderness Reclamation. Sure, okay, so no other discontinuity. So we're gonna untap and then we're gonna QQ. Untap, draw with Precognitive Perception. Let's see what we draw into. Not the best draws, but I think they're fine. Let's just draw again. Mystical Dispute is actually insane. So let's just hope that we survive for next turn. We also have, we could have played Sublime Epiphany, but it's not worth it yet. I'd rather play Taunter and then copy the Taunter. So let's just play our Brash Taunter and then just pass. Opponent, would you really counter Brash Taunter? I mean, look at his beautiful face. Just look at his beautiful face. We're gonna resolve it that way. And because I have double Sublime Epiphany, I'm fine with wasting one of them to just draw a card and then bounce some things. So we're gonna, we're not gonna counter and activate the ability. We're gonna bounce, create a token, draw. So we're gonna bounce the Oath of Teferi because it makes him use the most mana. We're gonna copy our Brash Taunter. Can this flicker something he doesn't control? No, he can't. Alright, so sure, we're gonna draw a card. So let's just draw our cards. Yeah, opponent, you seriously need to stop playing this continuity. Yeah, you need to stop playing this continuity, opponent. Yep. So we're gonna let that resolve. And are you serious, opponent? Is that what ends it? Alright, guys. So I'm very sorry I didn't get the combo in the last game, but opponent simply did not accept that I disputed him once and then he discontinued me. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing because that helps the channel a lot. If you want to help the channel beyond that, you can check out my Patreon link in the description down below. And speaking of Patreons, before signing off, I would like to thank them because they are the ones making my content possible. And a special shout out to I am Mark Mac. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.